In the bright moonlight, you are my sun. Day 30, Rose. 3 hours away. He breathes in deeply. Ladybug sends him a weak smile. That's a lot farther than we're used to, he says, trying to put in a bit of a humorous spin on it all. It doesn't help much to lift the mood, but it's the trying that counts. They haven't talked about what the distance will mean for them just yet. It's been on both of their minds, his especially, but the prospect of actually talking about it and trying to work out all of the possibilities, even the ones they don't want to even think about, is terrifying. They have been in denial. They have been avoiding it. Now that avoidance has come to an end and they have to have a real mature conversation about it all. They need to talk about how it's going to affect their relationship and what could possibly happen to it. I think that's an understatement, Ladybug says in a light voice. Her head drops onto his shoulder and he hears her sigh. They are both hesitant to really talk about what could happen. Not only are they hours away from each other, it's a whole new country. It would be one thing if they decided to go to 2 different schools here in Paris, where they feel comfortable and have family and friends. They're going to be making a whole new life and trying to survive while maintaining their relationship. We're stronger than that distance, though, Ladybug says optimistically. For the first time in a while, Ladybug is more hopeful than he is. She's more adamant that it won't change too much, and 4 years later they will be back to normal. It's almost silly of him to be skeptical of their future, but at the same time it's not. Nearly everyone in the world knows that distance will really put a strain on a couple, and most high school relationships end because of that distance. Perhaps it's just the small worried voice in his head that keeps repeating that something is going to happen and that they're going to stop communicating and stop involving each other in their lives until one day it all falls apart like a Cold War gone nuclear. He doesn't want to live in a cold, empty house or a cold, empty heart again. Not when Ladybug is his warm glow now. We've been through a lot together, and yet this feels the scariest, he mutters in a low voice. I know, she replies, but we love each other, and we're gonna get through it, she says, and he knows that she means it as a promise. But they both know that kind of promise is impossibly hard to keep. Then again, surviving all that they have is also fairly impossible, yet here they are. Falling in love with each other, and then finding each other in different ways, also impossible, but not for them. They've defied the impossible many times, and he hopes that they can do it again. We're gonna make it, Shot says vehemently. Maybe if he says it out loud, it'll be easier to believe. It'll be easier to keep. We're gonna talk to each other and miss each other a lot, but we'll find a way to make it work, he continues, wrapping his arm around her. Yeah, she says softly, snuggling into his side. Yeah, we will. Life has been a blur, and suddenly he's 2 weeks away from getting onto a plane and leaving for his first tour. His room is packed into boxes, thanks to Nino and Gorilla. It's crazy and it's chaotic, and on the occasion, he catches Plag reminiscing in the room. He has to be super quiet when he catches him doing so, though, or else Plag will try to play it cool and act like he doesn't even care about the change. It's funny each and every time. He's really gonna miss Plag and his grumpiness. 1 more slice. 2 more slices. You know 1 is never enough. 17 more won't even be enough for you. 2 more. Final. So that's the way it is, Plag says as he eats his final pieces of cheese before they have to leave for the night. By the way, you gave so easily, your children will go crazy. Plag chuckles. Poor Marinette. She'll have to deal with it. His cheeks flush pink when thinking of future children with Marinette. Obviously, he's never thought about having a family with anyone else, but they are still just young kids. However, the idea is very interesting to him, even at age 18. He'd love to have a family with her, running around with 3 kids. Maybe they're all super blonde or have jet black hair. Coming home from work to see her baking in the kitchen, their kids feasting on bread. Having the coziest and warmest home. It's everything he's ever wanted. It's even more of a daydream for him now that he hasn't seen her in 3 weeks since she went off to her own university. They've been holding up surprisingly well with the different time zones and distance. It's been giving him hope that they can make university work without a hitch. She sends him pictures when she's out and he's sleeping in the night. They've been texting back and forth as much as possible, and he just loves hearing about all of the new things her university has to offer for her. There are spans of time that one of them is sleeping and the other one isn't, so in that time, he's found himself being with Nino or Gorilla more and more. He's keeping those other relationships in his life alive, and he's becoming more and more at ease with leaving. "Come on, lover boy," Plague teases as he snaps him out of his reverie. "I get that you want your girlfriend, but you said we had to go." He tears his eyes away from the gift and shrugs. Opening his shirt, Plague ducks in and they head out the door, but not without his eyes flickering back to said gift. When she comes home, they will only have a few days before he has to leave, so he's gotten a special gift for her, a bouquet of 18 roses. Specifically, one of those roses was fate, so even when all the others died off from time, one won't. She'll always have one red rose from him till the end of school, when he can finally give her even more roses all the time. He hopes she'll like it, and for some reason, he thinks she really will. Unbeknownst to him, all the way in the United States, there was a girl with pigtails and black hair sewing a sweater with a black cat and Ladybug printed on it, so he can always see them together.